The work. Your office desk felt cold and distant as your empty mind led you back to a moment in the first grade you had forgotten about until now. Your teacher handed you a piece of paper with big lines on it to help you write letters, and you got excited because writing was still such a novel thing. There were stories you wanted to tell about imaginary friends that lived in your closet, and how the closet was some portal between their world and ours. Instead, a prompt in Comic Sans font read, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And of course, this got your 6-year-old heart racing, the possibilities firing off in your head. Your teacher gives you 5 minutes to write, but it doesn't come as easily as you originally thought. Too many options: firefighter, Pokemon trainer, astronaut, elephant, deep sea explorer. How could one choose? You consider these for a while, especially the Pokemon one, only to start thinking about this one time when you helped Veronica look for her lost worry stone at recess. You found it, eventually, underneath the probably unsafe tire swing you bruised your knee on once, and she was absolutely ecstatic. She told you she wanted to be your friend forever, and that, ostensibly, is what she became until she moved away 3 years later. But in that moment, you felt good about helping someone else. And so, to answer the teacher's question, you wrote, "I want to help people," misspelling a few words here and there. Your mother would put this gem in a frame and cry in that way only mothers do when she found it collecting dust in the attic the day after you left for college. Yet here you are, sitting at an office desk under the watchful eye of some middle manager type who can't seem to shut the fuck up about craft beer, creating client-centered solutions for corporate polluters who hired your firm not because they genuinely want to clean up the environment, but because they need to look good for their performative commitment to corporate social responsibility, whatever that means. At least you have health insurance, you think to yourself, a void at the very pit of your soul opening wider and wider. All the imaginations of what could be, of what truly is possible, once again sucked into oblivion. Vapidity, you thought, often lent itself to a sort of destruction, the kind that slowly erodes human bodies from the inside out, a silent sort of violence that manifests itself in forced conversations about the weather and, quote, deliverables, end quote. Like when Chris tried talking to you about accounting details this morning, and you had to make some awkward excuse to get the fuck out of there and rush to the bathroom where you could lock yourself away from the world and bawl your eyes out. Hundreds of thousands dead, and no one mourns it. The weight of the world so absent from the safety of small talk. Someone you barely even know but whose eyes communicated a distant sort of concern asked if you were okay, and you lied and told him that you had just gotten sand in your eyes on the way to work. Repression, in the end, is survival, even though you still looked back at that beautiful man as you walked away, only to see him looking back at you with a quiet melancholy on his face, a sorrow for you, for all that was lost in such a dead world. Friends forever, you wanted to tell him. If only such words were possible in the darkness of the American way. When the day came to an end, you and every other person you knew nothing about made the voyage home. You walked through the old city, through the red bricks and relict cobblestones, all of it built from the slave trade that no one talked about, a city of lumber and sugar where community held on so tightly to what little ground it had left, where connection itself was now a commodity to be priced out of. It was raining, and you felt every little drop fall on your head, the smell of the ocean replacing the nauseating scent of copy paper and consumer electronics. It brought momentary life to your body, your strained, tired eyes opening up to take it all in, the people walking beside you, the children getting out of school, the seagulls flying around the overpriced pay-to-park lots looking for scraps. There was movement in all of this, you noticed, coordinated yet decentralized. the motions of the everyday aligning themselves to produce a sort of quiet togetherness. A mother holding her child's hand, a musician playing the saxophone, people waiting for the bus, someone passing out political flyers, two unhoused guys sitting on a bench talking about something. Years ago, a teacher told you that history was not driven by great men, but mass movements, and some iteration of that floated through your head as you witnessed the world before you. The encapsulation of a million different moments, all happening at once. Instead of going straight home, you went to the little park near your lonely, potentially not up to code apartment, the one that looked over all the little islands in the bay, where you often found yourself isolated among the sea of couples lying close to each other, laughing and enjoying the beauty of each other's presence. You wanted to cry about that, too, about all the connection that never seemed to come your way, about all the missed opportunities, about the self-perpetuating loneliness you could never find your way out of. But today, however, the earth itself was enough. The afternoon sun shining on your face, the waves hitting the shoreline, the warmth on your skin as spring became summer. You sat down on the old jetty, watching the boats sail around the harbor, noticing the cormorants as they dove beneath the waves for fish. What a paradox you found yourself in, to be so in tune with the rhythms of the world, yet so separated from the very real intimacy necessary to sustain human life on this planet. And yet, there was a certain hope you found in such moments, the sort that kept you attached to the soil because, no matter how much you thought about it, you did not want to die alone. "When do you walk out?" someone asked you once, the revolutionary fervor of those words still quietly echoing in your head to this day, as if it were a transmission from a faraway planet traveling at the speed of light looking for you, pushing through the fabric of space-time because it needed to find you. And that's when you thought about the beautiful man again, the person who, in the midst of this sad, dying world, saw you there, another vulnerable human in desperate need of care. You imagine a friendship blooming, a foundation of courage and truth, creating itself amongst all the discontents of the present. You see a way out of all this, a portal into something more radical than anything you had ever conceived of, your body trembling at the thought of what could be if all that was hidden was realized. Everything we need is already here, you think, as you walk back home, the landscape around you a canvas, your hands ready to build something out of nothing.